Good morning, guys. Praful here. Welcome back, and thanks for joining in. Today is the 14th of October, and today is the second weekly expiry of the month. And mad markets we are in, like as if the market doesn't want to take a breather at any point of time, and we are just constantly heading higher with absolutely no consolidation, absolutely no retracement, absolutely no dip. And even today we gapped up by quite an amount. We gapped up by almost more than 100 points, and that has resulted in a massive call side IV spike. So use that, and I have shorted the 18350 call. Definitely didn't want to short any of the puts, any of the calls like which are closed, even remotely close to 18300. And the majority of my puts are at 18200, and some of my puts are at 18150. So as of now we are trading cost to cost. पहले मेरा 18100 पे भी पुट था. I immediately closed it off and I pushed everything to 18150, and from there onwards I've pushed it to 18200. One good thing is that the puts are decaying in the value and the calls are not bleeding as much as one would think, because at one point these calls even spiked to 12 in the first instance, but now even though we are currently at the same level, so these calls are not being that much of a threat. अब एडजस्टमेंट क्या रहेगा? I'll wait for this wick. ये जो wick जो है, ये जो wick फॉर्म हुई है, this wick, I'll wait for this wick to be taken out, and उसके बाद मैं क्या करूंगा? Then I'll shift some of these puts lower, or I'll shift some of the calls to 18300, because 18300 पे a decent amount of open interest is built up, around 7 million contracts. So that should give me some amount of comfort factor to come and short the 18300 puts as of now, because यहाँ से एक rejection आ गया है, and that would give me some amount of cushion. So Bank Nifty has given again a fresh breakout, and it is kind of moving higher, but Nifty IT is dipping and HDFC is moving higher, so it's kind of an index management that's going on around. So let's see. अभी adjustments तो ज़्यादा रहेगा नहीं, तो अगर चाहिए तो मैं थोड़ा कॉल्स को मैं नीचे शिफ्ट कर सकता हूँ. That would be the adjustment. Time is 10:08 and there has been a significant decay from the put side, and the market has positioned itself in such a way that 18200 is kind of out of the cards. That's what the market is trying to say. That's because look at this. We opened gap up, and after the first initial short covering, we came down to the day's low, and then we shot up, and then again we tested the day's low. So this is a sort of a double bottom pattern, correct? अगर आप lower time frame पे जाके देखोगे, so this is a double bottom pattern. तो when this happens, ये देखो यहाँ पे जाके completely ऊपर move कर दिया. So this is when the markets have decided, okay, now the markets won't breach this level. ये जो level है इसको breach करना काफी मुश्किल है. तो that is why the puts are being shorted super aggressively, and that has kind of benefited me. That is because I have around 3000 quantity of my puts at 12 rupees. And of course these 18300 calls are at threat, but I don't have the plans of taking these more than, letting these bleed to more than 25. So इसका stop loss already रख दिया है मैंने 25 पे. तो if at all we reach 25 on these puts, on these calls, I'll just shift them to 18350, and from there onwards it's just 18350 calls, and the puts will be spread across two strikes. So that would be the adjustment. So as of now we have gained like close to 4 points. As I see, the risk is actually towards the put side, correct? Because these puts have been shorted so badly at all the bad possible prices. So once these puts start to spike above, let's say 18, then it's going to be a bit of a threat, and at that point I have to come and short the 18300 calls. So that's the approach. So मैंने थोड़ा quantity फिर से 18300 पे डाला. That is because almost 9 million contracts are built at 18300 levels, and probably even like I'm of the opinion that 18300 should not be taken out, at least for this expiry. And if at all that happens, then we would benefit a great deal by that, because like we have a close to 30 points, 30 plus points hai usme. And let's see, like if the market holds the range, then probably we have nothing to be worried about. And only once this 18200 put reaches 18 or something, that is when I'll be looking to shift that low, shift that down. But as of now, we are pretty comfortable. I'll keep you guys posted. The time is 10:14. Time is 10:50, and we are steadily holding this very small range of 18,290 and 18,255. It's a small 40-point range. So pretty weird, because considering the fact that the market has been moving 100 points higher and 100 points lower, and sometimes like it's giving three-way moves, but it's been like almost 2 hours, almost 1.5 2 hours, and the market is properly holding this small range. And what that has done is that has prompted a lot of option writers come in and short this 100-point strangle. That is 18,300 and 18,200 strangle has been shorted immensely, and it has lost a lot of its value. So currently it is trading at somewhere around 29. And the idea is, the moment we breach this range, a range breach hote hi, we have to be super risk averse, because there is a high possibility, like I'm not much worried on the call side today, I'm more worried on the put side, because as just like everyone, even I'm expecting a correction, but the correction hasn't happened. So we have been in a constant uptrend. Of course, like there has been a good amount of sectoral strength that's coming in, but nonetheless, my bias is that like the 18,300 should not get taken out today. So that's my personal bias, and even the open interest kind of backs my hypothesis. All right, my camera's battery died. I forgot to charge it and I've kept it for charging. Probably it should be back from the next clip. So going over the positions, so I have an 18,300 straddle now, because these calls are just bleeding way out of control. But at the same time, the open interest hasn't dropped much. So even now the people are thinking that 18,300 should act as a good amount of resistance. So the 18,300 straddle, that offers me a good 60 points on either side. So this should basically be break even at up till 18,360 and 18,240. So that's why like I've taken a part of my positions as 18,300 straddle, and the remaining part are at 18,250 puts and 18,350 calls. I know it is kind of a tight position to take, considering the premiums are low and we are in an uncharted territory. But anyway, expiry, I'm planning to manage these positions aggressively. The moment these 18,300 calls start spiking above 35, that is when like I'll start adding more and more puts to 18,300, because at that point even the 18,300 puts will start to become a good support zone. See, any down move, I believe that these puts won't expand to such an extent that it will be disastrous, but these cooling off of these call IVs should definitely benefit, because this is still the highest open interest. Around 8 million contracts are built at 18,300. So the people will come and short this 18,300 calls at every possible opportunity. तो जैसे उनको अपॉर्चुनिटी दिखता है वो लोग आके वहां पे 18,300 calls को short करते हैं. But after 35, once these start to breach 35, that is when it starts to get a bit out of control. तो उस point पे I'll have to risk off to 18,350, or I'll have to start bringing in these 18,250 puts to 18,300 puts. Depending upon when that happens, depending upon how the other option behaves at that point, मतलब अगर put से ज़्यादा मतलब premium डी के नहीं मिल रहा है, then again like I'll have to I'll have to tweak some adjustments. मतलब क्या adjustment करना पड़ेगा, that depends on multiple factors. And on the other account, I have taken another like 100-point strangle, 18,250 and 18,350. 18,300 ही लिया था, but उसका stop loss hit हो गया. Somewhere around 26 पे उसका stop loss hit हो गया, and after that I shorted 18,350 calls. So currently we are up by around 10 points. We'll keep you guys posted. The time is 11:30. Alright guys, the time is 1:20, and after we thought that this breakout level would act as a good support, the market didn't hold on to that, and it came back into the yesterday. I mean, it came back into the morning range. So what that did is my 18,300 straddle, it started to get a bit out of control. So I shifted some of my puts to 18,250 and some of my puts to 18,200. So right now, majority of my calls are at 18,300 and only few amount of my calls are at 18,350. And the puts, majority of my puts, I mean almost equal quantity of my puts are at 18,200 and 18,250. So mark to market wise, we have already gained around 14-15 points of decay. As long as we are above the day's low, then probably these 18,250 and 18,200 puts, they won't be much at threat. But if at all we start testing the day's low, then probably I'm going to shift all my puts to 18,200 and all my calls to 18,300. So that would be the approach. See, we have used around 50 lakhs, 49 lakhs ka funds use kiye hai, and probably we have already made like 1.2-1.3% ka already returns mil chuka hai. So now it's not wise of us to actually take additional risk and burn our hands. So jitna ho sake, at every point, whenever the market tells me that bro, there is a threat towards a particular side, I'm going to risk off from that side, and I don't want to push the other side higher, because abhi dekho, abhi we are another 2 hours, another 1.5 hours for averaging, and abhi already option premiums काफी कम हो चुका है. And if at all I take an aggressive bet at this point of time, there's a decent probability of that backfiring. So I don't want that to happen. That is why the position tries to be as risk averse as possible. क्योंकि अगर मैं अब से, even if I capture around 5-6 points of decay, probably it would be a very decent, let's say 1.82% तक भी हो सकता है. So that would be more than enough. So let's see. And छोटा अकाउंट में भी मतलब मैं कुछ तो कुछ मतलब कर रहा हूँ. So currently even the small account has a 300 and 250 triangle, and the stop loss for which are at 19.4 and 19.4. अगर किसी का भी stop loss hit होता है, then I'm gonna short a further OTM option. That's it. So alright guys, the time is 3:07 and we are up by 1.06 lakhs in this account and around 4.6k in this account. तो इसको मैं close कर देता हूँ. So there are no orders pending. तो इसमें मैंने काफी जल्दी close कर दिया because I wanted to manage the other account. तो यहाँ पे 4.6k, I'm gonna close this, and यहाँ पे 1.06 lakhs चल रहा है, and we have another 1.7 rupees in the short position and minus around 50 paise, around 1 rupee left. So that would put me to somewhere around 1.1 lakh or 1.11 lakh, 1,10,000 के आसपास मुझे लेके जाता है, and I'm 100% sure कि like these two options would definitely go to zero. Alright, मैं अभी जो लास्ट ऑर्डर है उसको भी मैं एग्जिट कर रहा हूँ. हो गया एग्जिट. सो या अराउंड 130 ऑर्डर्स, उसमें से थोड़े बहुत कैंसल्ड है, थोड़े बहुत रिजेक्टेड है. सो अराउंड 130 ऑर्डर्स. तो आई थिंक आई वुड बी पेइंग समवेयर अराउंड 3.5-4k एज ब्रोकरेज. तो काफी लोग पूछते रहते कि कितना होगा ब्रोकरेज, कितना होगा ब्रोकरेज. तो इट्स समवेयर अराउंड दिस. That's about it. Around 1.1 lakh here and around 4.6k in that account, somewhere around 1.15 lakhs for the day, which is clearly more than 2%. And I hope you guys also had a good expiry. And talking about the expiry in general, it was an alright expiry, though we started trading in pretty much uncharted territory, untested waters, and this was supposed to be held. ये जो resistance था, ये रेजिस्टेंस होल्ड करना चाहिए था, बट अगेन वी ब्रोक 18,300 एंड यहाँ पे थोड़ा बहुत देयर कुड हैव बीन लाइक सम अमाउंट ऑफ देयर कुड बी सम प्रॉब्लम्स फॉर द कॉल राइटर्स एट दिस पॉइंट, बट उसके बाद वी हैड अ कांस्टेंट डाउन मूव. इतना एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहा था. आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग द डाउन मूव शुड हॉल्ट एट दिस लेवल. ये जो पिवट है उसके लेवल पे हॉल्ट करना चाहिए था, बट एट वन पॉइंट इट इवन फेक द ब्रेकडाउन. मतलब काफी ब्रेकडाउन होने वाला था. ऐसे लगा कि इट वुड बी लाइक इट वुड कम एंड फिल द गैप. कल का जो गैप है उसको फिल करने आएगा, बट देन फ्रॉम देयर वाज अ मैसिव स्ट्रेंथ that came from Bank Nifty, HDFC Bank and pretty much everything. तो at this point, this
ये जो fall and in this V-shaped recovery, some people would have been stopped out, some people would have been, so I mean, this would have definitely rattled the feathers of a lot of people, and it did rattle my feathers as well. मतलब यहाँ पे मतलब काफी ज्यादा intense हो गया था because but one good thing was that since I was already sitting on a nice 60-70k MTM gain, I still maintained a fair distance from the markets, and I never shorted the calls anything below 17, 18, 300. And of course, I had to risk off from the call side at different point of time. And in the end, pretty much things worked out. And I wish you all a very happy Dasara, a very happy Navratri, and hope you guys enjoy the long weekend. मतलब कुछ take the time off, don't look at the charts, don't look at the markets, don't plan anything, just rejuvenate, and let's bounce back on Monday. I'll be seeing you guys on Monday.